Good morning, happy Thursday. Today we're going to find the surface areas of cones. So let's take a look at what a cone is. It's made up of a base here and the sides, or this curved piece. The piece that you would hold on to if you had an ice cream cone. So what we're going to do to find the area of the whole thing is we're going to break that up into our two smaller pieces. And this is something you can do with any math problem. If you're ever confused on, your SAT or ACT or any math test or any problem you're doing in real life, you can break it down into its basic components. What are the pieces that make up this problem? And that might help you to find your final answer. So the area of the base, it's just a circle. So this base is just a circle. And we know the area of any circle is pi r squared. So we're done there. We can check that off the list. But we need to find the area, this lateral area, the area of the side of the cone. So this is what we still need. This is done. So here's what we're going to do. Let's just find all the measurements that we can. So this is the slant height. This is the measurement of the cone we haven't used yet. So the slant height of the cone is the height of the cone if you're going along its slanted side. And if you unravel the side, what you get is this weird looking, piece of pie. And it turns out that the slant height is the radius of this, slice of pie. So I've got this piece of a circle. The radius is going to be the same measure as the slant height. And now what I really want to find is this measurement. This is the last thing I don't know about this piece. But let's think about what would happen if I put this cone back together. So this corner right here is going to wrap around. And as I wrap this lateral area around my circle, it's going to go all the way around once without ever overlapping or leaving any gaps. So what do we call one trip around a circle? Well, that's our circumference. So this is 2 pi r. This is our circumference. So let's let's reimagine this. Let's draw it again in a different space. I'm going to draw it over here. Here's my lateral area. And that lateral area is just a piece of a whole circle. And I keep the radius the same. So the slant height is still there. And now we've got to go back to how do I find the area of just part of a circle? Well, that's back when we did, part over whole equals part, I don't know why I put pi, part over whole. So, and I almost forgot to label this as my 2 pi r. That's my curved length there that we found from going around the circle one time when I wrapped that all back up into a cone. Okay, so what do I know? All I know so far about this circle right here is that part of that circumference is 2 pi r. So let me put that in the part category, because I know part of the circle is 2 pi r. But what's the whole circumference? What would be one trip around this circle? Well, it would still be 2 times pi times the radius. So 2 times pi. But what's the radius of this circle? Well, that's the slant height. So instead of r, I'm going to put the slant height, L, in there. So part of the circle, part way around is 2 pi r. Around the whole circle is 2 times pi times this radius of L, or the slant height. Okay. Now let's do the part over whole here. I have no idea what the part is. You know, this is really what I'm looking for. I want the part of the circle that I've shaded. I want that area. So part of area over the whole area. But how do I find the area of this circle? Well, the area of any circle is pi times the radius squared. But what's the radius here? Well, the radius is L, so that's pi times L squared. Okay. Now what's just the part? I don't know. I have no idea what the part is. So let's do some simplifying here. So what can I cancel? The 2's, the pi, and now let's get rid of those. The 2 and the pi canceled. And now if I cross multiply, I get r times pi L squared equals the part I want times L. And if I'm trying to solve for this, what do I need to get rid of? Well, I've got to get rid of L. So I can get rid of the L's, and I'm left with the part that I want is equal to pi times r times L squared divided by L. If I cancel out one of these L's with this L, then my lateral area is pi times r times L equals the lateral area of my cone. Okay, so let me just box these off. Area of the base was pi r squared. The lateral area is pi r L, where L is the slant height. So the total area is pi r squared, that's the base, plus pi r L. Let me give myself a little bit more room to label this. So again, this is the base, and this is the side, or the lateral area. So I'm going to get rid of all this extra work. And let's just use this formula here. So pi r squared plus pi r L to find our surface area. So I've got pi times 16, because 4 is the radius, plus pi times 4 times the slant height of 6. So this is 16 pi plus 24 pi. And you can treat pi like any variable here, and you can combine your like terms to get 40 pi. And we're just going to leave it as 40 pi. So let's do the same thing here. Pi r squared plus pi r L. So this is pi times 7.8 squared plus pi times 7.8 times a slant height of 10. So 7.8 squared. So this is 60.84 pi plus 78 pi. And then if I combine my like terms, I get 138.84 pi. Alright, same thing. Pi r squared plus pi r L, where L is the slant height. So we got pi times 25, or pi times 5 squared, plus pi times 5 times 8. So I get 25 pi plus 40 pi, which is 65 pi. Okay, so our last one here, pi r squared plus pi r L, and I've got pi times 7 squared plus pi times r is 7 times L is 13. Again, the slant height is L. This is 49 pi plus 91 pi, which would get me 140 pi, and that's square inches. So I'm going to go back here and make sure I've got my labels there. But here's your formula. This is really what you need. This is the most important part here. And that's how we're finding our total area, our surface area of a cone for today. We'll come back tomorrow with surface area and volume of a sphere. And we've got that quiz coming up next Tuesday. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and we'll see you tomorrow.